Maya Rodriguez walked into her yoga studio on a Tuesday morning, ready for her usual 7 a.m. class. The owner, Stephanie, pulled her aside with an uncomfortable expression. "Maya, I need to talk to you about something strange. Your mother called yesterday asking if you actually attend classes here. She wanted to know your attendance record for the past 6 months." Maya's stomach dropped. "What did you tell her?" "I told her I couldn't share that information without your permission. But she got upset. She said she's your mother and has a right to know if you're lying about where you spend your time." Maya was 31 years old. She lived alone, paid her own bills, and had been practicing yoga for 5 years. But her mother still treated her like a troubled teenager who needed to be monitored. What Maya didn't know was that this phone call was just the beginning. Her parents had been tracking her, questioning her friends, and investigating her life for months. When she finally confronted them about why, their answer would reveal a family secret that explained everything. Stay with me, because this story is about the moment you discover your parents never trusted you and never will. Before we continue, if you've ever had your privacy invaded by family who claim they're just worried, hit that subscribe button right now. Your support means everything. And comment below, has anyone ever tracked you or questioned your life choices without permission? Let's talk about it. Now, back to Maya's story. Maya stood frozen in the yoga studio lobby. Other students walked past her, heading to class, but she couldn't move. "My mother called here?" Maya repeated, still processing. Stephanie nodded. "Yesterday afternoon, she introduced herself and said she needed to verify your attendance. She said you'd been claiming to come here every Tuesday and Thursday morning, and she wanted to make sure you were telling the truth." "Why would she think I'm lying?" "I don't know, but she was very insistent. She even asked if I could send her copies of your sign-in sheets." Maya felt her face flush with embarrassment and anger. "I'm so sorry you had to deal with that." "Don't apologize. You're an adult. Your mother has no right to my client records, but I wanted you to know so you could handle it however you need to." "Thank you for not giving her anything." "Of course. Your privacy matters. But Maya, is everything okay?" She sounded genuinely worried. Maya wanted to say yes. She wanted to say her mother was just being protective, but that would be a lie. "My mother doesn't trust me. She never has. And apparently she's now calling places I go to verify I'm actually there." "That's intense." "That's her." Maya grabbed her yoga mat. "I should get to class before I'm late." But Maya couldn't focus during class. Usually, yoga was her escape, her peaceful hour where she could quiet her mind and just breathe. Today, all she could think about was her mother calling her yoga studio, interrogating the owner, demanding private information. What else had her mother been checking? Who else had she called? After class, Maya sat in her car and called her mother. Patricia answered on the second ring. "Maya, good morning, honey." "Mom, did you call my yoga studio?" Silence. Then, "Who told you that?" "The owner. She said you called asking about my attendance. Why would you do that?" "I was just concerned." "Concerned about what? I'm 31 years old. I don't need you tracking my activities." "I wasn't tracking you. I was just making sure you're being honest." "Honest about what? Yoga classes?" "Maya, you've been claiming to go to yoga 4 times a week for months. That seems excessive. I wanted to make sure you were actually going and not doing something else." Maya's blood ran cold. "Something else? Like what?" "I don't know. That's why I called. To verify." "Mom, even if I wasn't going to yoga, that's none of your business. I'm an adult. I don't owe you explanations about how I spend my time. As long as you're my daughter, you owe me respect. And respect means honesty." "I have been honest. I do go to yoga, but now I'm humiliated because my mother called my studio like I'm some teenager who needs to be monitored." "Don't be dramatic. I'm your mother. I have a right to know what you're doing." "No, you don't. Not anymore. I moved out 10 years ago. I pay my own bills. I live my own life. You don't get to track me." "If you have nothing to hide, why are you so upset?" Maya wanted to scream. "Because it's invasive, because it's disrespectful, because normal parents don't call their adult child's yoga studio to verify attendance." Patricia's voice turned cold. Normal children don't lie to their parents. I'm not lying. Then you shouldn't mind me checking. Maya hung up. Her hands were shaking. Her heart was racing. She sat in her car for 20 minutes trying to calm down. Then she started thinking. If her mother called the yoga studio, what else had she called? Who else had she contacted? Maya drove straight to her therapist's office. She didn't have an appointment, but she needed to know. Maya walked into the reception area of her therapist's office. The receptionist, Karen, looked up and smiled. Maya, your appointment isn't until Thursday, is it? No, I just need to ask you something. Has anyone called asking about me? My mother specifically? Karen's smile faded. Actually, yes. About 3 weeks ago, a woman called saying she was your mother and wanted to know if you had standing appointments here. Maya's stomach lurched. What did you tell her? I told her I couldn't confirm or deny whether you're a client. HIPAA laws. She got pretty upset. Said she's your mother and has a right to know where you're going. 3 weeks ago? Why didn't you tell me? I didn't think it was necessary. We get those calls sometimes from concerned family members. I just shut it down and moved on. But now that you're asking, I'm guessing there's more to the story. She called my yoga studio too. She's checking up on me, verifying my schedule. Karen looked concerned. That's a significant invasion of privacy. Have you talked to Dr. Chen about this? Not yet, but I will on Thursday. Maya left the office and sat in her car again. Her mind was racing. Her mother had called her therapist, her yoga studio. Who else? She pulled out her phone and called her best friend, Jenna. Hey, what's up? Jenna answered cheerfully. Has my mother called you? Your mother? No. Why? She's been checking up on me, calling places I go. I'm trying to figure out the full extent of it. That's insane. Why would she do that? I don't know, but I need to find out who else she's contacted. Maya spent the rest of the morning making calls. Her gym, her favorite coffee shop, her nail salon, her book club organizer. The gym confirmed her mother had called 2 months ago asking about Maya's membership and workout frequency. The coffee shop said a woman claiming to be Maya's mother had asked the baristas if Maya came in regularly and if she was always alone. The nail salon said Patricia had called last month asking if Maya had a standing appointment and how often she came in. The book club organizer said Patricia had emailed asking for a list of members to make sure the group was safe and appropriate. Maya felt sick. Her mother had been systematically contacting every place Maya went regularly, every activity she participated in, every routine she maintained. But why? That evening, Maya drove to her parents' house unannounced. She needed answers. Her father, Carlos, answered the door. Maya, what a nice surprise. Is Mom home? Yes, she's in the kitchen. Come in. Maya walked straight to the kitchen. Patricia was chopping vegetables for dinner. Maya, I didn't know you were coming over. Patricia didn't look up from the cutting board. We need to talk, now. Can it wait until after dinner? Your father is hungry. No, it can't wait. I've spent the day calling every place I regularly go. And guess what? You've contacted all of them. My gym, my coffee shop, my nail salon, my book club. You've been tracking me like I'm a criminal. Patricia set down the knife and finally looked at her daughter. I was just checking in. Checking in? Mom, you called my therapist. You violated HIPAA privacy laws. You interrogated my yoga studio owner. You asked my coffee shop baristas if I'm always alone. What is wrong with you? Carlos appeared in the doorway. What's going on? Ask your wife. Ask her why she's been stalking our daughter for months. Stalking? That's a strong word. Patricia started. What else would you call it? You've contacted at least 6 different places I go regularly. You've asked for my attendance records, my schedules, information about who I'm with. That's stalking, Mom. Carlos looked at Patricia. You've been calling Maya's places? Why? Patricia's face reddened. Because I need to know what she's doing. She's hiding something. Hiding what? Maya shouted. I go to work. I go to yoga. I see my friends. I live a completely normal life. What could I possibly be hiding? You're lying about something. I know you are. Based on what? What have I done to make you think I'm lying? Patricia crossed her arms. You're too secretive. You don't tell us everything about your life. Because I'm 31 years old. I don't need to report every detail to you. Normal daughters share things with their mothers. I do share things. I call you twice a week. I come to family dinners. I tell you about my job and my friends. What more do you want? Patricia's eyes filled with tears. I want to know you're okay. I want to know you're not making the same mistakes. She stopped abruptly. The same mistakes as what? Maya pressed. Finish that sentence, Mom. Patricia looked away. The same mistakes as what? Maya repeated, her voice sharp. Carlos stepped forward. Maya, maybe you should go. No, I'm not leaving until someone tells me what's going on. Why is Mom tracking me? What mistakes is she talking about? Patricia and Carlos exchanged a long look. Something unspoken passed between them. Tell her, Carlos said quietly. Carlos, no. She deserves to know. Especially now. Patricia sank into a chair, her face pale. Fine. You want to know? Your sister. Maya froze. What about my sister? Maya stared at her mother. I don't have a sister. You did, Patricia said, her voice barely a whisper. Before you were born. Her name was Isabella. She died when she was 28. The room spun. Maya grabbed the counter for support. What? Carlos sat down next to Patricia. We never told you because it was too painful. Isabella was our first daughter. She died 6 years before you were born. How did she die? Patricia wiped her eyes. An overdose. She was addicted to pills. We didn't know how bad it was until it was too late. Maya felt like she couldn't breathe. You had another daughter? Who died? And you never told me? We wanted to protect you, Patricia started. Protect me from what? The truth? My own family history? It was too painful to talk about, Carlos said. We lost Isabella, and it nearly destroyed us. When you were born, you were our second chance. We promised we'd do better. We'd be more vigilant. We'd never miss the signs again. Signs of what? Of addiction, of lying, of hiding things, Patricia said. Isabella was good at hiding her problems. She told us she was going to yoga classes, to the gym, to book clubs, but she wasn't. She was using, meeting dealers, destroying herself while we thought everything was fine. The pieces clicked into place. So you've been tracking me because you think I'm lying like Isabella did? We're just being careful, tha. I'm not Isabella, Maya shouted. I'm not an addict. I'm not hiding anything. I actually go to yoga. I actually go to therapy. I live the life I tell you I'm living. We know that now, Carlos started. No, you don't, because Mom is still calling places to verify my story. You don't trust me. You see me as Isabella, not as Maya. Patricia stood up, angry now. Can you blame us? We watched our daughter die. We missed all the signs. We believed her lies. So yes, we're careful with you. We check. We verify. Because we can't lose another daughter. But you never had me, Maya cried. You were so busy looking for signs of addiction that you never just saw me. The real me. I'm not your dead daughter's replacement. I'm my own person. We know that. Do you? Because everything makes sense now. Why you always question me, why you never fully trust anything I say, why you track my movements like I'm one mistake away from dying. We just love you, Patricia sobbed. This isn't love. This is control based on fear. You're punishing me for Isabella's addiction. You're treating me like a recovering addict who never even used in the first place. Carlos stood up. That's not fair. We've done our best. Your best? Your best was lying to me for 31 years about having a sister? Your best was calling my yoga studio to verify I'm not secretly buying drugs? Your best was invading my privacy at every turn? We were traumatized, Patricia pleaded. And so am I. Do you understand? I've spent my entire life feeling like I'm not good enough, like you're always waiting for me to fail. And now I know why, because I'm living in the shadow of a sister I never knew existed. Maya grabbed her purse. I need to leave. Maya, wait! Carlos reached for her. Don't. I need time to process this. All of it. She walked out of the house and didn't look back. Maya drove aimlessly for an hour. She couldn't go home, couldn't face being alone with this revelation. She ended up at Jenna's apartment. Maya, what's wrong? You look terrible. Jenna pulled her inside. Maya collapsed on Jenna's couch and told her everything. The tracking, the phone calls, the confrontation, the sister she never knew existed. Jenna listened in stunned silence. When Maya finished, Jenna said, "Oh my God, I can't believe they never told you." "I can't either. I have a dead sister. I've had a dead sister my entire life, and nobody thought to mention it." "But why? Why keep it a secret?" "Because they were traumatized. Because talking about Isabella was too painful. So they just erased her from existence and projected all their fears onto me." "That's not fair to you." "No, it's not. My entire childhood makes sense now. Mom's overprotectiveness, Dad's constant worry, the way they always seemed like they were waiting for something bad to happen." "Were there other signs? Things you didn't understand before?" Maya thought back. "Yeah, Mom never let me have sleepovers at friends' houses. She'd always insist friends come to our house instead. She was obsessed with knowing where I was at all times. She'd panic if I was even 15 minutes late coming home." "That's pretty controlling. I thought all mothers were like that, but no, she was just terrified I'd end up like Isabella." "What about your extended family? Did they know?" "They must have. I remember my grandmother once started to say something about before Maya, and my mother shut her down immediately. I thought it was weird, but I never pursued it." "Are you going to talk to your relatives? Get their perspective?" "Maybe. I don't know. I'm so angry right now. At my parents for lying, at myself for not seeing it." "You had no reason to suspect you had a dead sister. That's not a normal thing to hide." Maya's phone buzzed. Text from her mother. "Please come back. We need to talk." Another text from her father. "We're sorry for not telling you. Please don't shut us out." Maya turned off her phone. She stayed at Jenna's that night. And the next night. She couldn't face going home, knowing her entire life had been built on a foundation of secrets and fear. On the third day, Maya finally went to her scheduled therapy appointment. Dr. Chen listened as Maya explained everything. When Maya finished, Dr. Chen leaned forward. "How are you feeling about all of this?" "Angry, betrayed, confused. I don't even know who I am anymore." "Why do you say that?" "Because my entire identity was shaped by parents who were comparing me to a dead daughter I didn't know existed. Every choice they made, every rule they set, every boundary they drew, it was all because of Isabella, not because of me." "That's a lot to process." "It explains so much, though. Why I always felt like I could never quite make them happy, why they always seemed worried, why they never fully trusted me. I was being measured against a ghost." "How do you want to move forward?" "I don't know. Part of me wants to cut them off completely. Part of me wants to understand more about Isabella. Part of me just wants things to go back to normal, except normal was based on lies." "There's no rush to decide. You can take time to process, to grieve, because you are grieving, the sister you never knew, and the honest relationship with your parents you thought you had." Maya started crying. "I keep thinking about Isabella. Who was she? What was she like? Did she look like me? Would we have been close?" "Those are valid questions, questions you deserve answers to. But asking my parents means engaging with them, and I don't know if I'm ready." "Then don't. Not yet. Give yourself permission to just feel what you're feeling without having to take action." 2 weeks after learning about Isabella, Maya finally returned her parents' calls. She agreed to meet them at a neutral location, a quiet park near her apartment. Patricia and Carlos were already there when Maya arrived. They both looked exhausted. Maya sat across from them on a bench. "I'm here. Talk." Patricia spoke first. "We're so sorry for tracking you, for not telling you about Isabella, for letting our fear control how we parented you." "Why didn't you tell me?" Maya asked. "I'm 31 years old. Did you ever plan to tell me?" "We wanted to," Carlos said. "But the longer we waited, the harder it became. How do you tell your daughter she has a dead sister after 3 decades? You just do it. You sit her down and you tell her the truth." "We were afraid," Patricia admitted. Afraid you'd hate us. Afraid you'd see us differently. Afraid the grief would come back full force. The grief never left, Mom. You just buried it and let it poison everything. Patricia flinched. I know, you're right. Tell me about her. About Isabella. Carlos pulled out his phone and showed Maya a photo. A young woman with dark hair and brown eyes smiled at the camera. She looked like Maya. Same nose, same smile. She was beautiful, Maya whispered. She was, Patricia said, tears streaming down her face. She was funny, creative. She wanted to be an artist. She painted the most beautiful landscapes. When did the addiction start? In college, Carlos said. She hurt her back and got prescribed pain medication. It spiraled from there. By the time we realized how bad it was, she was already deep into it. Did you try to help her? We tried everything, Patricia said. Rehab, therapy, interventions. She'd get clean for a few months, then relapse. The last relapse killed her. How old was she? 28. You were born 6 years later. Maya looked at the photo again. Did you have me to replace her? The question hung in the air. No, Carlos said firmly. We had you because we wanted another child. We always wanted at least 2 kids. But yes, we were still grieving Isabella when you were born. And yes, that affected how we raised you. You smothered me. We were terrified, Patricia admitted. Every time you went out, every time you were late, every time you seemed distant, we panicked. We saw Isabella. We saw the warning signs we missed with her. But I'm not her. We know that now. But fear isn't rational. We couldn't separate you from our trauma, and that wasn't fair to you. Maya felt tears running down her face. I spent my whole life trying to be perfect, trying to prove I was trustworthy, trying to make you proud, and it was never about me. It was always about her. That's not true, Patricia started. Yes, it is. You tracked me because Isabella lied. You didn't trust me because Isabella couldn't be trusted. You controlled my life because you couldn't control hers. Everything was about Isabella. You're right, Carlos said quietly. And we're sorry. We failed you. We let our grief over one daughter damage our relationship with another. They sat in silence for a long moment. What do you need from us? Patricia finally asked. To move forward, what do you need? Maya thought carefully. I need you to see me. Not Isabella, not your fears. Me, Maya, your living daughter, who has never given you a reason not to trust her. We can do that? I'm not finished. I need you to stop tracking me. Stop calling places I go. Stop verifying my schedule. I'm an adult. You need to treat me like one. Agreed, Carlos said. And I need you to tell me about Isabella. I deserve to know my sister. I deserve to understand where I came from. No more secrets. Patricia nodded, wiping her eyes. We can do that. We should have done it years ago. Also, I need space. I need time to process all of this. I need to rebuild trust with you, and that's going to take a while. How long? Patricia asked, fear in her voice. I don't know. As long as it takes. We'll talk when I'm ready. But for now, I need distance. Please don't cut us off completely, Patricia pleaded. I'm not, but I need boundaries. And you need to respect them. No more surprise visits. No more tracking. No more calling my friends or my yoga studio or anywhere else. If you want to know something about my life, you ask me directly. That's it. We can do that, Carlos promised. Can you? Maya challenged. Because you've been invading my privacy for months, maybe years. Can you actually stop? Patricia and Carlos looked at each other. Then Patricia said, We'll get therapy. We should have done it years ago after Isabella died. We'll work on our trauma so we stop projecting it onto you. Good, because I'm in therapy too, and I'm going to keep going. I have a lot to work through now. Maya stood up. I need to go. Will you call us? Patricia asked desperately. Eventually, but not yet. I need time. Maya walked away, leaving her parents on the bench. 3 months passed. Maya stayed in therapy, working through her complicated feelings about Isabella, her parents, and her own identity. She learned more about Isabella from relatives. Her aunt showed her photos. Her grandmother told her stories. Maya discovered that Isabella had been kind, artistic, and funny. She also struggled with depression and anxiety long before the addiction started. Maya visited Isabella's grave for the first time. She brought flowers and sat in the grass, talking to the sister she never knew. "Hi, Isabella. I'm Maya, your little sister. I just found out about you. I wish I'd known you. I wish things had been different." She cried at the grave, grieving for the sister she'd lost before she was born, and for the childhood she'd lost to her parents' fear. Slowly, Maya started responding to her parents' texts. Short responses at first, then longer conversations. Her mother sent her a box of Isabella's paintings. "I thought you should have these. She would have wanted you to have them." Maya hung one of Isabella's landscapes in her living room, a beautiful sunset over mountains. It was stunning. 4 months after the confrontation, Maya agreed to have dinner with her parents. They met at a restaurant. Patricia and Carlos looked nervous. "Thank you for coming," Patricia said. "Thanks for respecting my boundaries." "We've been in therapy," Carlos said, "both individual and couples, working through our grief over Isabella and how it affected how we raised you." "That's good." "We want you to know," Patricia said, "we see now how much we damaged you, how our fear and control pushed you away, and we're truly sorry." "I appreciate that." "We also want you to know," Carlos continued, "that we're proud of you, so proud. You've built a good life. You're healthy, successful, happy, despite us, not because of us." Maya felt tears sting her eyes. "I needed to hear that." "We should have said it years ago," Patricia said. "You are enough, Maya, exactly as you are. You don't need to prove anything to us." They talked for 2 hours about Isabella, about the past, about the future. It wasn't perfect. There were still awkward moments, still unhealed wounds, but it was a start. As Maya drove home that night, she felt lighter. The secret that had shadowed her entire life was finally out in the open. The fear that had controlled her parents was finally being addressed. She was no longer living in Isabella's shadow. She was just Maya, and that was enough. Maya continued going to yoga. She continued therapy. She continued building her life on her own terms. And when her mother texted asking how she was doing, Maya responded honestly, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. The relationship was still being rebuilt. Trust was still being earned. But for the first time in her life, Maya felt like her parents were seeing her, really seeing her, not as Isabella's replacement, not as a potential tragedy waiting to happen, just as Maya, their daughter, their living, breathing, thriving daughter. And that made all the difference. Maya Rodriguez learned at 31 years old that sometimes the secrets families keep are more damaging than the truths they hide. Her parents thought they were protecting her by not telling her about Isabella, but instead, they created a childhood full of unexplained fear, control, and distrust. They tracked her because they couldn't bear to lose another daughter. But in trying to prevent loss, they nearly lost her anyway. The phone call to the yoga studio was the catalyst Maya needed. It forced the truth into the light. It made her confront her parents. It revealed the family secret that explained everything. Was it painful? Yes. Was it necessary? Absolutely. Today, Maya has a relationship with her parents. It's not perfect. It's still healing, but it's honest. She also has a relationship with Isabella. She talks to her sister at the grave. She keeps Isabella's paintings in her home. She honors the sister she never got to know. And she's learned the most important lesson. You can't live your life trying to prevent someone else's tragedy. You can only live your own truth. Maya still goes to yoga 4 times a week. But now she goes for herself, not to prove anything to anyone, just because it brings her peace. And that's exactly how it should be. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support truly means the world to me. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. I love reading every single one of them. Each comment inspires me to keep creating stories for you. See you next time.